Hey, what is up, everybody? It's the Game According to Me podcast. This is your boy AJ Tripp. And I know I have not done one of these in a long time, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast because I'm doing this right now because I what I want to do is I want to try to make a promise, and hopefully I can keep this promise. Um, I need to be better with this and doing this. Because when I first started this last year, I said that I wanted to do this every Friday, do a podcast, talk about the week in sports or a certain topic in sports, something like that, or even in wrestling. I wanted to do something like this, and I obviously did not keep up with that, and I've done do these podcasts from time to time, and um, so what I need to do is in 2018, I'm gonna make a promise, and I'm gonna try to keep up with it. So what I'm just doing right now, all I'm saying is right now, is that in the new year, I'm going to um, try and do a podcast near the end of the month. So end of the month, so then review the month in sports, in wrestling, whatever. I will try to do the podcast for that. I still am a free. Still using Spreaker, and I'm still doing free. So I still only have 15 minutes. So, but maybe what I could do is that I can just mention a couple of things. I try to be more diligent in doing this. Make a couple points. Focus on some of the bigger topics, things like that. And then from time to time, if something big happens or something like that, I can definitely do a I could definitely do a podcast on that topic if if it comes to it. One, one of the things that happens is that I'm going to school as well as I will, and especially this past quarter, this fall quarter, um, just the my schedule was having a night class and everything like that, and you get so tired and you wanna can't do a lot of other things, so it just didn't it just hasn't happened, and I finally got a little bit of time to be able to do something about it, do a little podcast. So that's what I wanted to say. So and that's what's gonna happen. So for instance, like January, right? Um, what I hope to do is maybe like I think maybe like I think the 30th is on a Tuesday. I won't have any school, so a good thing to maybe do is Tuesday morning. We talk about the entire playoffs, entire NFL playoffs. Talk about what's happened in the NFL. Maybe talk about anything that's happened in Major League Baseball with trades or anything like that. Try to do that so that it can be, that's how it would go down. And so I'm definitely want to try and get better at this. So I'm not I'm trying not to make any big deal about it or anything like that. I just want to make a promise to try to do one at the end of every month in 2018, and then maybe from time like again from time to time, if something breaks or something happens, I can do a podcast about that specific thing, and then during the month or anything like that, when something if I have an extra time, if I have thoughts on on something in the world of sports or in the world of wrestling, things like that. So that's what's going to happen in 2018. So yeah, I was thinking about it, and actually, I think that's something I could do. I've also doing some stuff in YouTube, and I can maybe do like a year in review for YouTube as well. do your review when it comes to sports and everything like that. So, um, yeah, definitely. So I want to definitely do a lot of things coming up um, with this podcast, with my YouTube channel, main channel, with my YouTube gaming channel, with Twitch. Hopefully, I can with throughout something can happen with one of these four things that I'm I'm doing out there. Something will happen for me, and we'll be able to even do things on a bigger and better thing where I can maybe get a podcast. I can become a thing and make and have more than a 15-minute podcast. Where I can go into depth about certain topics if I need to. Although when you think about it, sometimes even 15 minutes is just something to do to have a nice good rant. If you have a good rant on something, like i.e. my my Jay Cutler rant. I had to when Jay Cutler was signed with the Dolphins. Oh, my Jay Cutler rant I think was epic. So, um, yeah. So I think that was awesome too. So, um, yeah, and now that you made me think about it, now that I'm thinking about it, I definitely do think that a year in review is for me is something that I should think about making a video about over on YouTube, and I think I will do that. So, um, and I think that this is going to be something that I think that I something that's going to be interesting. So, yeah. Like I said, I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's quickly talk about some of the things that have gone down in this football season. Since I've got time left, I'm not gonna stop it. Let's use the entire 15 minutes, shall we? Let's talk about some of the football things. I mean, let's talk about the Eagles were dominant this year. And yesterday, Carson Wentz looks to have torn his ACL. We'll probably find out today or tomorrow if it really truly is a torn ACL. And my thoughts go out to him. But yeah, so uh, um, this is it was a surprise. I think at least for me it was. So I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. So um, Minnesota has been probably the biggest surprise, especially without Teddy Bridgewater and then Sam Bradford. Case Keenum. See, I've always thought, and this is something that I thought. I remember watching Case Keenum when he was with the Houston Texans his rookie year, and I thought he had talent. I thought he had. I didn't think that he was one of these, spread offensive, things where he couldn't play. I thought he was mobile. I thought he had a good enough arm. I thought he was pretty talented. And I thought if you just gave him a chance, he could be something. And I think he's proven it. Is he elite? No, but who is elite, right? It's really only Brady and Rodgers, and then from time to time you get a quarterback who will play elite, like Carson Wentz this year was playing as an elite quarterback. Um, I don't know if you can call him elite, especially only in his second year. Although you may look back on it, he may be like the Peyton Manning of this decade because Peyton Manning in his second year, we didn't call him elite then, but he was elite. Let's face it, when he came out and had that, I think he 26 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and over 4,000 yards. So yeah, I mean that's exactly what happened. So maybe Carson Wentz could be that way. I mean, something like that. You see Matt Ryan, the year he had winning the MVP, and then of course now he's not playing this year. So there's a bunch of groups. There's a big bunch. There's like 10 of them. That's in that second group. There's 10 of them that are just they're good and they can be elite, but they can also just be good as well. So there's about 10, 12 of them in that group. Some of them like disappointing too. Like Mariota and Winston. Just disappointing years this year. Derek Carr, very disappointing. Other the year Derek Carr had last year, you would have thought Derek Carr would have been taking that next step to be elite. He didn't as well. So, and then let's talk. I mentioned. You know what? You know who you could put in there? You probably could put Russell Wilson in there because Russell Wilson has been playing elite for about the last 3 years. So maybe Russell Wilson is in that elite category. So that's something that I think is something to think about as well. And then I'm going to go back to the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers with a victory, a overtime victory yesterday against the Cleveland Browns, has made it possible for Aaron Rodgers to come back and take this team, win the next 4 games, and take this team into the playoffs. And it would be exactly what had happened. That exactly would be what would happen, wouldn't it? They would take Aaron Rodgers would take this team into the playoffs after breaking his collarbone for the second time in 5 years. I mean, this is why he is one of the all-time greats, and it sucks that he has, and it sucks that he has been a part of the maybe here in Chicago. For me, maybe we found a quarterback, maybe we haven't. In Mitchell Trubisky, we will have to wait and see about that. He played a good game yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals. However, let's face it, the Cincinnati Bengals, whether it was, they just hadn't recovered from the beating the Steelers gave them, or they just was thinking about whoever they playing next week. I don't know, but they did not show up yesterday. They didn't. Let's face it, they did not show up. And all you need to know is that they didn't show up is the Eddie Jackson strip play against AJ Green. AJ Green was so lackadaisical. And Eddie Jackson stripped it so easy. He was so lackadaisical with the ball and just didn't care. And that's what they didn't care about yesterday's game. I don't know if they were looking at it and said, these are the Chicago Bears. They've lost to San Francisco. They get destroyed by the Eagles. This is a team that we can go out, sleepwalk through and still beat. And that just didn't happen. So, and of course the Patriots, they play tonight. They've been, as usual, what they've been. They lost once again, they lost 2 of their first 4 games, and they were like, well, here we go. The Patriots, are they finally? No, they're not finally. They're still the Patriots. So the Steelers are playing good. The Saints are surprisingly playing well as well. And I said this might be one of the good things, right? So how about this, right? The Steelers are playing good. The Saints are playing well, and the Chargers are making a late come up, right? So wouldn't it be great if maybe Ben Roethlisberger or Phillip Rivers can make it to the Super Bowl, and or if Drew Brees can make it to the Super Bowl? These are quarterbacks who are probably all 3 of them probably within the next 5 years are going to retire. Wouldn't it be great to see them get one last Super Bowl, especially Ben Roethlisberger, who's probably going to retire after this season? That would be great to see them get one last Super Bowl, before they retire. So, yeah, this has been a great season for football. Once again, really quick, my time is running out. Got 45 seconds left. So again, like I said, I started this podcast out saying, in 2018, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do end of the month podcast. End of the month, I talk about the sports stories, wrestling stories of the month. Throughout the month, if something breaks or anything like that, I might come up and do a podcast. But most of the time, the podcasts in 2018 are going to be at the end of the month, reviewing that month in sports and wrestling. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. I will see you guys next year. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody. I'm out.